Toda rabba, Ruvik. Thank you very much, Ruvik. And first of all, I'd like to thank this place, the University of Ben Gurion, and the medical school, and this place that are hosting us throughout the day. And with your permission, I would like to say a couple of words about this day, which is a very unique day. We've been working on it for something like 6 months, maybe more. And it is very unique, and it's the first time, it's an experiment, actually. And I'm very much looking forward to see whether it will succeed or not. Because if it would succeed, we shall continue doing this in other domains as well, bringing people from both disciplines together. And I explain what's the rationale behind it. It is a unique day in 3 dimensions. The first dimension is the actual fact that we bring together opinion leaders and people from healthcare industry and cyber industry. People that on a daily basis do not get to talk together. And the actual fact that we bring them together to discuss, and that brings me to the second uniqueness, which is this is not a conference. It is not about bringing keynote speakers, a lot of people having cocktails, listening to them. It's a very passive event, usually a conference, and they go home. This is a workshop. And the emphasis about the word work is not in vain. The whole idea, and the main course actually of this day, are the roundtables. What we are doing is that we are building a community. We are building a joint community. People from healthcare industry and people from cyber industry, on the regulation, on the research, on the investment, on the development of solutions. Why do we do this? And that brings me to the third dimension of uniqueness, because we look ahead. We look into the future. If we look 5 years ahead, and you read science, and you read people from healthcare that are currently these days developing the future, some people may say it's a science fiction, some people say it may not. But you think about a situation whereby reading the brain, reading the thoughts, become a normal thing, more and more developed. Think about a situation that once you have the genetics and the genomics of a person, not only do you know his current situation, but you have a knowledge that can predict what he's going to look like in 6-7 years. Think about a situation whereby you try to get accepted to a work, and your employer, your future employer says, I won't get you because according to your genomics, you may be having a cancer in 6 years. I'm not going to insure you. It brings you to a whole set of things and thoughts in terms of who owns the information, how do you protect the information, where do you store the information, what is the authentication and the authorization of using this information is going to look like. So if you think in terms of the future in healthcare, in every single aspect, cyber is there. If the cyber solutions would not comply with this vision, it won't work. And I can tell you that we in CyberSpark are very deeply involved in completely other disciplines like civil aviation, like automotive, autonomous vehicles. It's the same thing. People are very much focused in what they do. As far as they are concerned, cyber is not part of the equation. And we want to bring them together. We want Beersheba to be the place that will identify and will define what the future of cyber is going to be. What are the headlines? What are the venues that we are about to follow? This is the rationale behind this day. So it is actually divided into 2 main sessions. The first one is keynote speakers, very distinguished people. Thank you very much for coming because we want to understand where we are heading. The second one is the roundtable, and then we shall reassemble over here to try and conclude and see if we can actually build a community, draw some conclusions, and maybe try and define a very preliminary work plan that we can follow from that point on. So it's not a one-time event. This is just a foundation event. This is just the beginning. We have a very busy day. We have beautiful people that came. Some of the people, we shall have more than 100 people. Some of them will come later on because when they talked to me over the phone and they asked, should we come in the morning or should we come in the afternoon? I said without hesitation, come to the roundtables. This is where things are really happening. This is what's so important for me. This is the unique thing in that sense. So before we start, I would like to invite Professor Ononofek to say a couple of things on the behalf of the government, and then I'll be happy to invite Professor Leonid Didelman to embrace this event, and then we shall carry on with the keynote speaking. Arnon, please.